What's going on, everyone? This is Ecos Blacks here again for TML. We're here at Monza for a sprint race, but before that, I want to show you TML at Miami where I lagged out and won the race. I forgot to show it in the last video, in the Japan video, so here it is. Lost the clip, as you can see here, though, with Ghost ahead of me. This was actually a lap after the safety car. That was the complete lap right there. Ghost lets me by, which I really do appreciate. He said he didn't want to win the race like that, so big props to him and mass respect. So, yeah, this is us winning our home race, and we also won a sprint race, like I think a race or two before that. So, this was our real official points win, first race win of F122. But now we're gonna get to the actual Monza race, and it's actually a sprint, as I said about couple of races before in Baku. I think was before Miami a couple of races. So yeah, and here we are, where as you can see our AI did not get off the final corner that well. So going into the chicane, we actually didn't really hook it up that well. We actually had a really poor chicane. Sector 1, you can kind of see when, at least from my standards, I don't think we didn't do as good as we could have did. There was definitely a lot more pace in that sector 1. So as you see, going through that chicane, which is a very tough chicane, and it's very crazy how you can run it, because you can just not take the first curb or completely just get up on that curve. Some people will, some people don't. I don't. I even know some F1 drivers in TML that don't. So because the curve is just very inconsistent. So, and we're also using very low ride height, which could upset the car. But we are making some pretty good progress in sector 2. So, and you can see now on the exit or start of sector 3, we actually got up in the second, and we are trying to get to the pole but I think me not downshifting into fifth probably cost me a shot at that. And we are going to come second place, I believe. Yeah, half a tenth off of Kiki, but it was a good bounce back. So here we go. This is the sprint race. So I do want to say that I was feeling pretty good about this race. I felt like I could definitely win it. And going into turn 1, you'll see here, we actually get hit from behind, and we actually were alright. We got passed by third in the championship in Ghost and Sidegate, who almost won last race in Japan, but it was Atlas who won that. And I also want to say, speaking of the championship, that the championship leader, Joey, is not here, as he will also miss the next race in Britain. So we can take the championship lead this race, which will be very big for us. But we need to get maximum points. I was just thinking points. I wasn't even thinking win. If I had to give up the win, I was totally okay with that. But I was just thinking, just get as many points as you can. The championship leader is not here. We need to maximize today, because I've given up way too many points this season due to my bad decision making and just terrible decisions. So going to the pair boxes, we passed Sidegate up to P3 or P2, and now we can get on the leader and Ghost, who is third in the championship. And now going into Ascari, I believe it's called, we are right on him. You see, we said a purple sector 1 because we are a bit on the battery, but here I don't think Ghost is using. I think he knew there was just no point, and respect to him. He could have fought that. Probably would have been upset. I don't know, but he has every right to do it. So that's just racing, but he chose not to. So here, I'm expecting him not to fight, but he actually was he was on the battery a bit, and then I turned it off because I thought he would get off of it, but he actually got back on it stayed on it. So, but I didn't, reuse mine. So. Yeah, I want to save a bit of battery if I could, and we also got a good exit coming out of that chicane. So now moving on to lap 4 here, you can see car retires in the car, the Haas retires, and there's a safety car. And yeah, I was thinking we're gonna get going with like 3 laps to go, but he just kept taking forever. So it's gonna be a 2-lap shootout, and yeah, we just want to try and build the biggest gap we can, because I do want to try to go for fastest lap if I can get it. But as you can see here, we do already have fastest lap, and you get fastest lap in the sprint races. I don't know any other leagues that does that, but TML does it. You do get fastest lap in the sprint races, and obviously you also get it in the main races. Because for first, you get 10 points in the sprint race, 1 point for fastest lap, and then the actual race you get 30 points for the race and race win, and obviously a point in fastest lap. So we're trying to go for all the points we can, because we definitely want to put ourselves in position to get as many points as possible for the next race. And this race, well, not even these 2 races, the one after Monza, which is Britain, but Singapore and Mexico, or Mexico and Singapore, whichever order it is in, because we may be able to clinch those 2 races if we are, I think, 60 points, because obviously, like I said, you can get 31 points with no sprint weekend. With no sprint weekend, it's 31 points. That's maximum for drivers. So yeah, we're pretty much going to need 62 points entering the last 2 races, or exiting the last race to clinch the championship, because there will be no more points. But I do think even at that, he does have more wins than me. So it is kind of important I do win these 2 races, because I do need to get back up in the win column. I'm pretty sure Joe has at least 3 wins, and right now we are at 1. So it's pretty important we need to get a win here. And we also can click off some, as you see, we set a purple sector 1. We also can get some more extra points, because we can get a sprint win and fastest lap in the sprint. So I was trying my hardest to get this fastest lap and make sure I completed it, but I didn't. I also made sure I didn't wreck the car. So you can see me here on the battery, just getting all I can, because I want to make sure I get fastest lap. And with him not being here, I'm pretty sure the gap was like 29 points entering this race. So I knew I definitely could make a big dent. I should probably be maybe around 10 points, 9, something like that, maybe single digits, no more than 15, I believe. I ain't really trying to do all that math in my head right now, so I'll just say around 10 to 15 points on them. And crossing the line, we win the sprint race, which is very cool. And actually, after this, we had to reset the lobby because it was pretty glitchy. We did a few laps, but we had to reset. So yeah. And also, I had a roller run-in with Ghost on the safety car. I lost the back end, and he hit the back of me and got wing damage. So sorry to him. Didn't mean for that to happen. Just lost the rear end, and he was there, and yeah. Completely on me, completely my fault. Nothing he did wrong, and he also didn't get any points after that. And after running second behind me, so yeah, I feel bad for that. But now we move on to the main event, which is the actual race. And sorry for the game being delayed. I don't know why it does that. It just is delayed sometimes in some of my recordings, but I believe it will fix itself later, or in like a few seconds. So going into turn 1, we get ahead of the Haas, and we move up into keep our first spot. So here, right now, we're just trying to build our gap. As you see, our virtual safety cars are now, we'll just, and it lasted pretty much nearly a lap. So as you see me go out wide there, luckily did not get a warning. And right now, I was just thinking, the pace is pretty good. We're pulling away. I want to pull away from Ghost. He was the main thing right now, was to pull away from him, because I knew he had some decent pace on him. As you can see, he also set the fastest lap after we did, literally just a few seconds later. But Kiki, his teammate, retires, and that is a safety car, which means he will line up behind us again. And I knew that was obviously not what we wanted, because the mediums are still fresh. But the main thing is we want we don't want a safety car anymore because we want Ghost and all the other medium runners to try and, or at least the medium runners that stayed out, to try and get on those hards and have that cold cycle, so that way we can build our gap even more and maybe even pit for sauce if we can. But that is if the safety car doesn't come out, and even at that, I think it'll be pretty difficult considering we are probably more than likely going to get another safety car. At this point, I knew we were going to get another safety car. It was just all about the timing, you know. If it came around lap 10, it wouldn't be the safety car we wanted. But if we could pass the finish line at this point and get to lap 11, as you see we did, and the safety car came out, I wouldn't be as nervous. So right now, I just praying that we complete as many laps. As you can see, my teammate I Am Salas retires, and that triggers the safety car. So luckily, not a bad lap for the safety car to come out. It's not the best, but it is all right. It's not terrible. You know, the medium will make it to the end. So we're gonna pit, make sure we don't speed, because obviously we're in a really good spot, and I don't even think we're gonna be held in the pits. We are a McLaren, so it is likely, but I don't think we will. So going into the pit stall, putting the mediums on, and we don't get held, so which is good. But now I'm looking at the leaderboard, seeing where I'm going to come out, and we come out 6th. It seems, yeah, so 6th. I was okay with this. There was a few hard runners ahead, and the main one I was watching was Maze, because Maze is kind of a dangerous person. But speaking of him, you can see here, Maze is actually starting to ghost, and he actually, I think, lagged out. And I was going to pass him, but I didn't know if he lagged out or not. And he just gassed it up and passed, or didn't pass him, but stayed behind him, and then he just vanished. So he definitely lagged out, and then coming to the safety car, Maximum just gasses it up, passes 3 cars, and pits, I believe, to fix a wing or something. I'm not sure, but yeah. And here we're just gonna try and get by Storm. We don't want to waste any time behind him, and thankfully he doesn't put too much of a fight. But going into turn 1, he is gonna put a little bit of a fight. We make a little contact. I completely run wide just to make sure I don't spin out, because I don't want to choke this opportunity. There's an opportunity for some good points. And speaking of that, here, going on out of Ascari, we're going to use the battery a bit here, stay in the slipstream, but obviously he's a lot closer to Haas than we're to him. I'm pretty sure. Looking at the Delta, I'm actually not sure, but it doesn't matter. So now, through the parabox, we are right on the 2 leaders, and now I should be staying with the car that's going to give me that I'm closest to, but I decided to go to the Aston for some reason. But it doesn't matter anyway, because we're going to make it 3 wide and see if we can take the lead. Going down into the corner, we take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, which was extremely big, because now we get a safety car. We can pit for soft if we want, and we will have track position over the other soft runners, which is good. And you see there's a DNF of Maximum. Now I think it was a safety car, but it's actually a virtual safety car, which is even better for us, because that helps us, you know, not have to pit, because at this point there's no way I was pitting. You know, the tires weren't even that old. I knew that it was going to be all right, but at this point I'm going for fastest lap, but we have to get at least a 21 or 22 for me to pit. But you see me there, get fastest lap, and then a few laps later I lose it to the AlphaTauri, which did kind of suck, but it's alright, because coming out of the final corner, we do win the Italian Grand Prix, and we don't take home max points, but we were 1 point away from it, which is pretty good points, and I think that is the championship lead by at least 10 points. I will say 10 points. That is most likely like around 10 points. So good points today. We fought hard. We made the right decisions, and just made sure we capitalized on a great car and a good day. So that should be the championship lead right there. Really, just a lot of safety cars. That's about all I can say. But I think we did help ourselves a bit in the constructors a bit with Maze retiring, I believe, and Kiki retiring. So not double points for Red Bull, and I think Ghost also lost his spot to Atlas at the end there. So Atlas is doing pretty well at the end of the season here. As you can see, my gritty doesn't show for some reason. But Steve, that's the guy we lost the playoff point to, so for fastest lap. So yeah, congrats to him on that. But we do get our second win of the season and second win on F122, which is pretty cool. Definitely very happy to have that happen on the template speed here, as that view is just absolutely insane. With Ghost coming P3, we will extend it the gap to him, and we also extended it to Jelly. So again, we are the new points leader, which I'm very, very, very happy about. And yeah, there you go. You can see my teammate sadly retired, so didn't get any points. But Kiki luckily retired, and I think Ferrari got the most points out today. Well, actually, Mace doesn't look like Mace retired. So yeah. Next up is going to be Britain, and feeling good about that race. Like I said, Jelly's not going to be at that race, unfortunately for him, but it is pretty good for us. So, yeah, I'll see you guys there. See if we can go get a win in Silverstone. I'm feeling pretty good. This is East Coast Blacks. I will see you guys later.